Well, many people are experiencing anxiety about four main things.
Yes.
First is the fear of their own death. The second is uncertainty about the future and financial uncertainty. The third is fear that things will get even crazier and worse in the world. And fourth, that conspiracy theories about why this is happening are also a fear that comes up for people. So how can we respond to these fears? What should we tell ourselves when these fears come up? What do you suggest?
All right. Well, first and foremost, let us deal with the fourth proposition of what you call the conspiracy theories. The main thing going on with regard to the present situation on your planet has mostly to do, not so much with anything that has been done deliberately, specifically with regard to the virus itself, but with regard to the destruction, as we have said in the monologue, of many of the different ecological systems on your planet. If there is any so-called conspiracy, it is mostly the idea that people on your planet, from fear-based beliefs and from fear of lack and from the idea of what they believe to be power that is not an expression of power, will conspire to do certain things that have destructive qualities that will eliminate many of the ecological systems on your planet, and have done so, in which these viruses propagate, and by which they are usually contained, at least to a certain degree. But the conspiracies of greed that create the disappearance of certain systems on your planet that these viruses inhabit forces them to go beyond those borders and beyond those barriers in a far greater way than they otherwise would have, seeking out new hosts. The virus is a natural virus. It has, over time, mutated in a variety of ways, but it is not in that sense human-made. So the conspiracy doesn't have to do with the idea of a deliberate release of a man-made virus. It has to do with the idea of the conspiracies that exist in many of your organizations, many of your political and social systems that allow fear of lack and greed to overtake your better nature and cause the destruction of many of the ecosystems on your planet that then allow for the propagation of opportunistic organisms such as this virus to take hold in much broader areas than they otherwise would. This has to do also with the concept of what you call climate change. That is also a side effect of the destruction of certain ecological systems on your planet, on land, in the air, in the sea. And you will find that many of the plants that still remain on your planet are now going to be, in a sense, migrating through seed propagation in different directions than they otherwise normally inhabit. Many of your plants are now moving more northerly and more westerly in order to survive. And the areas in which they were growing will no longer be capable of supporting certain kinds of natural plants or even the foodstuffs that you may choose to grow. This will add to the ability of the virus to propagate itself in broader ranges than it used to. Now, as we also said in the monologue, the idea now that you are isolating yourselves is a perfect positive opportunity to go within, to use this time of self-isolation and social distancing, to get in touch with the fear-based beliefs that may exist within your own individual selves, so that you can clean yourselves out of these ideas and pass through the eye of the needle more effortlessly and come out on the other side with an energy that creates more opportunity and more probability to begin to build a new world, a new way of doing things that is more representative of restoring the balance that your planet once had. This may still take some time, and things may still be a little crazy, and may even get a little crazier, but please remember that crazy doesn't have to be experienced in a negative way. There is positive crazy too, or at the very least, opportunities that will present themselves, and even though those opportunities may sometimes be reflective of things you don't prefer, by using this isolation period to go within, strengthen yourselves, balance yourselves, free yourselves of all the fear-based beliefs that you possibly can, you will be far more capable of handling anything that you may see on the other side of the passage through the eye of the needle that you don't prefer. And as we have said many times, you may still see things you don't prefer, people making choices that you don't prefer in your world for quite some time. But the idea, again, is that with the splitting prism idea that you're now fracturing into different parallel realities, it is an important thing for you to do to settle into the understanding that just because you can see people making choices you don't prefer, you're not living in that world. You are observing them through a kind of glass wall, a separation barrier that may allow you to see those choices being made that you don't prefer, but won't necessarily allow you to be affected by those choices if you don't actually make the choice to match those negative frequencies and create the effect within your own reality. These things cannot reach you if you don't make a decision to match or mirror them in the reality that you reside in, that you prefer. The idea, therefore, is even though you may see a great deal of chaos around you, as we said before in the transmission called the eye of the storm, is to remain in the center, in the calm space, which you have given yourselves a better opportunity to do because of your own self-isolation. Treat it as a monastic experience, a meditative experience, an opportunity to take the time to go within and divest yourself of all the things that would, in any way, shape, or form, cause you to want to match the vibrations of things that you don't prefer, so that you can come out the other side of the passage, in a sense, more streamlined, a little bit cleaner, a little bit more stable with your indestructible core, and know that no matter what you see around you, there is nothing to fear, for fear is the thing that will cause you to mirror the vibrations you don't prefer. Stay in your center, stay in that center, the eye of the storm, as you pass through the eye of the needle, and you will find that you will be more capable of accelerating on the other side of this experience in a way that will allow you to experience more synchronicity in a positive way, more effortless of communication between your physical and higher mind, and will put you in a state where you can much more willingly and much more capably move forward in a way that will allow you to eventually experience the reality that you prefer.